The gates of Buckingham Palace didn't just close on Prince Harry. Oh no, they slammed shut with the force of centuries of tradition. And behind those iron gates wasn't just protocol or procedure. It was a message. A big, bold message that couldn't be louder even if King Charles himself shouted it from the royal balcony. "Harry, you don't get to torch this place," and then waltz back in expecting a welcome home parade. When Harry's plane touched down in the UK, whispers began before the wheels even hit the runway. Not whispers about reconciliation, not about hugs and tea with family. No, the buzz was all about who might be with him. Archie, Lilibet, the kids, the wild cards in this royal soap opera. Because let's be honest, those two little ones have always lived in a fog of mystery when it comes to royal history. From the very beginning, controversy has clung to them like shadows. Secretive hospital stays, no clear documentation, endless public suspicion about the pregnancies. For a monarchy obsessed with bloodlines, records, and tradition, this was one chapter they never managed to close. And suddenly, here comes Harry, striding back into the UK, practically demanding that Archie and Lilibet be given the full royal treatment at Buckingham Palace, as if he never gave up his titles, as if Megxit never happened. Let's not sugarcoat it. This wasn't some casual, "Hey Dad, mind if we pop in for tea?" This was a bold, calculated power move. And King Charles, he saw right through it. His answer, a firm, unshakable number. Not just no to the kids, no to the reunion, no to exceptions, no to Harry's games. And that rejection was more than just a family snub. It was a thunderbolt. A warning flare shot up from the very heart of the monarchy. Blood may be thick, but the crown is thicker. But wait, it gets juicier. Because this wasn't just about two kids visiting their grandfather's palace. No. There's something darker, something deeper bubbling under the surface. Legal experts are already buzzing, raising eyebrows. Why now? Why was Harry so desperate to bring Archie and Lilibet back to the UK? Some say this is part of a bigger custody chess match, a strategic early move to establish the UK as a legitimate home base for his children. And let's not forget, there's been plenty of smoke around Harry and Meghan's marriage lately. If things do break down, he needs evidence, proof, that his kids have ties, physical, emotional, royal, to the UK. And Meghan, nowhere to be seen. Not on the plane, not in the palace, not even hiding in the headlines. Her silence is deafening. Maybe it's protective, maybe it's calculated. Maybe she's sitting back, letting Harry take the hit while she stays squeaky clean for her next Hollywood move. A Netflix deal, a brand collaboration, maybe even a second memoir. Whatever it is, she wasn't going to be photographed standing next to Harry during this gamble. And that silence? Oh, it speaks volumes. Meanwhile, Harry, once the adored people's prince, is now just a man knocking on a door that won't open. This wasn't a family visit. It was a failed power play, and it exposed everything he's lost: credibility, control, and any real influence over his royal bloodline. Charles didn't just reject a request, he reminded Harry and the whole world that Buckingham Palace isn't a revolving door, it's a fortress. And when the king says no, that door is bolted tight. The irony? Painful. This is the same Harry who once gleefully tore down royal walls on Oprah's sofa, who spilled every private detail in a tell-all memoir. And now here he is, desperately clawing to climb back over those very walls. This isn't about his kids. It's about himself. It's about dragging himself back into the spotlight, back into relevance. For a man who claimed he wanted freedom and peace, his actions scream of someone who misses the structure, the status, the power that only the crown could give him. And let's talk about his demands. Because apparently, Harry wanted full taxpayer-funded protection for himself and his children reinstated. Yes, after suing the Home Office and losing, claiming he didn't feel safe in the UK without armed guards, he now expects King Charles to personally foot the bill. It's entitlement on steroids, delusional at best, outrageous at worst. The public? They aren't buying it. This isn't 2018. Harry and Meghan aren't seen as brave rebels anymore. That fairy tale has curdled. The Netflix deals are stalling, their brand is floundering, and the royal family, they've moved on. William, Kate, Camilla, they didn't blink when Harry came knocking. No public outreach, no gestures of support, just silence. Cold, unified silence. And if Harry thought he could spin a redemption arc through fatherhood, the British tabloids squashed that dream overnight. Duke denied. Charles says no. Brutal headlines, social media memes mocking him from every corner. And poor Archie and Lilibet, innocent in all of this. For years, rumors have swirled around their very existence. Whispers of surrogacy, secrecy, and the lack of transparency haunting their legitimacy. Maybe Harry thought bringing them to Buckingham would silence those whispers, normalize their place in the family. Instead, it reignited every old question. Why now? Why so sudden? And why such icy resistance from the palace? Behind closed doors, insiders say Charles's refusal wasn't just about stubbornness. It was fear. Fear of reopening old wounds the monarchy has fought tooth and nail to stitch up. Allowing the children into Buckingham would raise questions no one wants to address, about their status, their future, even their inheritance. And that's a Pandora's box the crown refuses to crack open. So what's next for Harry? Well, he's stuck. Truly stuck. America doesn't worship him the way it did when he and Meghan first broke free from the palace. Britain has closed its arms, bolted its gates, and iced him out. Meghan sits across the ocean, watching in silence. And in the middle of it all, Archie and Lilibet, two innocent children, are caught in a storm they never asked for. What was supposed to be a family visit feels, in hindsight, like a failed invasion. And the fallout, it's just beginning. King Charles's rejection isn't just about wounded pride, it's about legacy. It's about what remains when titles are stripped, trust is shattered, and the bridges you burned are nothing but ash. For Harry, the reality is brutal. He's not just cut off from the palace. He's a man without a true home on either side of the Atlantic. In the UK, the monarchy has moved on and drawn its line in stone. Across the pond, Hollywood has started to grow tired of the sob stories. The shiny glow of sympathy has dimmed. His memoir, once a global bestseller, is now yesterday's news. His interviews, a broken record of recycled complaints. People aren't buying it anymore. The storyline has shifted. Harry is no longer the underdog prince. He's the man who can't stop looking back while pretending to move forward. And Meghan? Oh, Meghan, the woman who once dominated headlines with every gesture, every outfit, every word. Now, she's strategically silent. But don't be fooled. That silence is as calculated as a chess master's pause. Her absence during Harry's UK trip wasn't accidental. It was deliberate. No missteps, no awkward photos, no ammunition for critics, just a cool, quiet distance. But insiders whisper she's watching every moment, every headline, every meme. And when the time is right, she'll use this rejection to her advantage. A Netflix special, perhaps? Another Oprah sit-down? A glossy magazine feature framing her once again as the outsider rejected by a cold, unfeeling monarchy? The narrative writes itself. Meghan versus the Crown, Part 2. But here's the catch. The victim card has been played so many times, it's starting to wear thin. Even her most loyal fans roll their eyes when the same old accusations resurface. And if this latest humiliation was a stunt Harry pursued without her full blessing, the cracks in their marriage could widen. Because make no mistake, the whispers about trouble behind the scenes are growing louder. Insiders hint at Harry feeling isolated, Meghan feeling trapped, and both of them drifting further apart. And let's not ignore the darker possibility: custody. Legal experts aren't throwing around speculation for nothing. If this was Harry's attempt to plant a flag in the UK as his children's home base, we could be staring down the barrel of a cross-Atlantic custody war. Imagine it, California versus the Crown. Meghan fighting tooth and nail to keep her children rooted in America, far from royal scrutiny. Harry countering with claims of heritage, bloodline, and duty. The tabloids would feast, the lawyers would circle, and the children would be dragged through headlines that would scar them forever. And through it all, the palace remains silent. Not a word from Queen Camilla, not a whisper from William and Kate, not a single leak, just a wall of icy, calculated frost. And that silence is louder than any statement they could give. It's unity, it's finality, it's the monarchy closing ranks once and for all. Because here's the truth, Harry didn't just leave the institution in 2020, he torched it on his way out. And now, standing in the smoke, he wants forgiveness, access, relevance. But second chances don't come cheap in the House of Windsor. And betrayal is never forgotten. So who is Harry now? Not the grieving boy who walked behind Diana's coffin, not the cheeky beloved spare who charmed the world, not the soldier prince, not the rebel royal. He's a man with dwindling influence, a fractured family, and a legacy slipping like sand through his fingers. And those gates at Buckingham, they're not just closed, they're locked, bolted, guarded, because in the end, the crown always protects itself. And Harry, for all his tears, his titles, his tantrums, is no longer part of that circle of protection. The most tragic part? He did it to himself.